Welcome to the Georgia Florida Baseball Show. This podcast is brought to you by Georgia Showcase Baseball and its owner, Coach Ben House. Ben, how we doing?
Doing good, Kevin. How are you?
Man, I'm great. I am great. I am your host, Kevin Perkins, and today we have Coastal Alabama Community College head coach and Amsterdam, New York Mohawks head coach, Keith Griffin. Keith, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
No, thank you for coming on, man. I know you are a busy guy. Thank you for carving out a little bit of time for us, Coach Griffin. Y'all, Coach Griffin, his coaching career begins in the 1980s at Pensacola, Florida, Pine Forest High School. He had a fantastic career there before moving on to Jeff Davis and winning a national championship there. There have been many stops along the way, including coaching in the Perfect Game Collegiate Baseball League, where he has, I can't believe the success you've had up there when I read what you've done. You know, you've got 500 wins up there, some 30-something guys on actual MLB rosters. Correct, Coach?
That's right. We got. Since I've been here, I've been here 14 full years. We won the championship 9 times, finished second 3, and during that time, I think during my 14 years, we got 14 major league players here from up here, and several playing minor leagues. We've got a bunch of them in AAA and AA right now.
Right, and then you also just got through winning your conference state championship at Coastal Alabama, correct?
We did. We won the state championship, which made us the Region 22 champion, which played the Region 8 champion, which was Florida in the game to go to the World Series. And we come up short, but we really had a great year. Our teams played well. Very challenging, demanding schedule, and our guys played fantastic, especially April 1 on. We really got wet, really good, and we had a really nice year with this team.
Right. So as you guys can tell, Coach Griffin has done a ton of winning at in baseball at the high school, college, and in this D1. Basically, these guys you're coaching at the Perfect Game Collegiate Baseball League. These are D1 guys. They're 1 or 2 years away from getting drafted.
Yeah, all these players are from, like, our schools are Wake Forest, Mississippi State, Florida State, Alabama, Auburn, Rutgers, Utah. I mean, we got them from everywhere on relationships that me and the owner have made with those coaches. That's why in summer baseball, you can send 4 guys off to play in the summer from each school. Each school could send 4 guys to one team. So we recruit this team, put it together, generally finish recruiting by about October 1. We're already through for the next year. And it's just a matter of who you lose, who you pick up after that.
Right. So we're going to talk to Coach Griffin here over the next little while about the beginnings of his coaching career, how some of those stops have influences his styles, what his coaching philosophies are, and how those coaching philosophies relate to life. Does that sound good, Coach?
That sounds good to me.
Man, it sounds good to me too. Okay, we're going to do all that after this.
This is the Georgia Florida Baseball Show, brought to you by Coach Ben House with Kevin Perkins from Surrounded by Sports.
Ben, why did you think it was important to get Coach Griffin on? When you sent me his name, I immediately kind of lit up because I know what a great coach he was, because 40 years ago, whatever, we played against him 30 years ago. And I knew those teams he had back there were really good. What made you decide to throw that name at us?
Well, just remembering the history of Coach when he was at Pine Forest and always having to play against his teams and always competing and battling and trying to figure out ways to win, and having him over there on the other side. It always intrigued me to know where he was and where he is now. So I think in the last summer, I reached out to him. But this is when I think Jamie was on a college tour, going to some schools and working out for some schools. And Coach, he was one of the names on my list. And but when we stopped at Wallace, Coach Putnam kind of won Jamie over before he was able to get over there to Keith. And but Coach Griffin has always been just a phenomenal coach, and not only coach, but a phenomenal person. Great baseball mind. And
when he got with Putnam, he got a heck of a baseball coach. So I hope the year went well, and I mean Randy's a tremendous baseball coach, and I'm glad. I'm glad you reached out, man. I'm glad to catch up with you. I just remember a big right-hander that was absolutely outstanding and a hell of a quarterback too, man. You were slinging at football also.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, appreciate it, Coach. Yeah, it was always great. It was always great competing against you guys and all those wonderful kids that you coached. I still stay in touch with some of them, and had a chance to do a meet and greet. Well, not a meet and greet, but I think it was a ceremony they had for all the pros that came out of Pensacola. We did it a couple months ago at Dave Partridge's frozen yogurt spot.
I couldn't come. Jerome Nelson had told me about it. And David had asked me to come. I had something else going on. I couldn't get over there, but I saw
Jerome was there. Yeah, but you were well represented at the function. So it's never a time where you're talking about baseball in Pensacola that your name didn't come up. So
I appreciate you saying that, Ben. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So that was one of the reasons. That was one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on the show, Coach. So that the viewers can get to know you like we know you and get inside your baseball mind.
Good. Let's do it and get some players down at Coastal Alabama North in Bruton, Alabama.
Yes, sir. I got plenty of them up here.
I'm looking for a hitter right now, man. I need a hitter.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Coach, you start out. You're a Gadsden guy, right?
East Gadsden, Alabama.
Right. You start out there, and you grew up in an athletic area. You wind up at Livingston College, and then at 24 years old, you're the head coach in Pensacola's Pine Forest High School, and you're coaching against legendary Fred Waters.
Floyd Adams and Fred Waters, and they were both outstanding baseball coaches.
Did you take anything away from being into that high intensity environment? Because that was kind of a golden era for baseball in the Pensacola area.
Baseball in Pensacola in that time was absolutely incredible. I mean, I was telling some people when I went there in 1980, in that area, it'd probably be 60 baseball players get a scholarship. Several of them will have a chance to play pro. Great high school baseball coaches, great teams. I mean, when you consider Pensacola, Pace, Gulf Breeze, Milton, that's who I consider in the Pensacola area. But great players, tremendous coaches. I had to go in there as a 24-year-old guy. I had to try to beat Floyd Adams and Fred Waters. And that's just the two of them. I mean, they were outstanding. There were other good coaches in the area, but two guys that just jump out at you.
Right. Now, you've always done multiple things at one time. You were a football coach at the time, too. And you told me that Carl Madison, who was a legendary coach, there's a book written by Clint Crockett on Carl Madison out right now you can purchase. And he's a legendary high school coach. He just passed on us fairly recently. Tell me some things that you might have picked up because you told me football influenced you coaching.
Yeah, 10 years I coached football at Pine Forest, and 3 of them were when Carl was there, and it was golden, man. I mean, we had tremendous teams. We won back-to-back state championships. In 1998, we're the mythical national champion. I mean, it was, did I say 98? Might have been 88. 88. Mm-hmm. 88.
Don't remind me.
I remember, we beat you guys this first year in particular. I think it was part of our run.
Don't remind me.
But they had a great team. We beat them, and then we went on to win the state championship. The next year, we won the USA Today National Championship. Carl was a coach. What a great football coach. He got guys to do things that they didn't think they could do, and that's what made him special, and that's what I picked up from him, how to push people. And I organized my practices a lot like football. In that baseball, a lot of times, unfortunately, we'll have one guy hit and 12 guys on look, and one guy swinging and 12 guys standing around. And Carl made sure everybody was busy and they were always doing something. And I remember, I tell this all the time, don't confuse activity with accomplishment. Even though, they're active, they still got to be getting things out of it. And Carl was a master at getting them out of it. And I tried to take that with me on every stop I've been because he was such a good coach. I mean, he happened to coach football. He could have coached anything because he was that good a coach, but he was an incredible Veer football coach.
Right. Now, and toughness. You're a toughness guy, right?
We try to be, and we've been pretty well. I mean, we've done a really good job of that. I've been in Alabama now 8 years, 7 years. I recruited my own players, and we won 3 state championships while we've been there with pretty tough players. We don't get first pick in Alabama. I don't get the first pick. I used to get the first pick, and I picked this guy, and he'd be a good player. But now we got to pick a guy. Our picks are not quite as good. The year we won a national championship in 1998, we had 20 Division I players in that locker room. So it doesn't happen that way anymore. So we got to get them and build them, and we've done a really good job of building them. They got to bring a skill set, but I tell them the fifth two is toughness. Can you run, hit, field, and throw? And number 5 in that, tough. How tough are you? Because that wins out at the end of the day.
Right. Ben, you played football. You understand how it translates into the baseball?
Yeah. I think that, I think a lot of times, when football guys go into baseball, coming out of the football mode, transitioning into baseball, I think the physicality is there physically, but more importantly, just transitioning the mental part of the game. Everything kind of slows down on the baseball field. It's not as
100% agree with that, man. 100%.
Yeah, it's not as fast paced. So now you got to think a little bit more. You got to be more in tune with the mental on the baseball field, because you can't, playing at a high level, you can't take a pitch off. So you got to always constantly think. And I always tell kids that I coach that when you're playing baseball, you should be not only physically tired, but you should be more mentally tired than anything, just having to think every pitch. If you play the complete game, then you're mentally drained if you play the complete game. So that's kind of how I am with football players that I coach that play baseball.
Right.
I like the football toughness that those kids bring to baseball. My favorite kid's a two-sport guy. I like those guys a lot that played something besides just travel baseball. There's some great players who travel baseball, but I'd like for my guy in the fall to play football. I mean, it serves me a little bit better because he gets a toughness there that you can't get just playing travel baseball.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree with you on that.
Now, I was wanting to play baseball. In Florida, when Ben and I were there at the same time, like Ben spent, of his 12 months, probably about the majority of 9 to 10 months was on the football end of it. And then you only get 2 or 3 months on the baseball end. So, but if your bread is going to be buttered by being a baseball player, you better be making sure your work's getting in during football season or during basketball season. I have no problem. I just signed a tremendous player from Birmingham, was a heck of a basketball player, and that was good, and I appreciate that. But he also worked diligently daily and weekly to try to become a better baseball player because he knew he was coming to play for me, and we're going to get a good player.
Right. And there's a certain amount of being organized that you have to have in that, right? Because you've got to be able to, you got to get your grades. You got to be able to play. You get your basketball practice in, get your shots up. And you also, if you're a pitcher, you've got to throw. You've got to be able to hit your spots. You've got to work on that all the time. You have to be organized because there's only so many hours, right?
Absolutely. All the above. And like I say, when Ben and I and all those football kids that play football, they're 9 months, 10 months, they're just, it's football. They play spring football, they play fall football, they come back and do early June, July work. They're always in the weight room. I like the weight room. I tell guys all the time, man, get in that weight room. Your body's your billboard. And I said, get in that weight room and get stronger, get bigger, faster, and stronger. And I firmly believe in that. And I think that's what helps football players when they come play baseball, because they're further advanced physically than a lot of baseball players.
Well,
Absolutely.
Strength is self-confidence.
Oh, no doubt. I tell our guys, I can give you everything but confidence. Confidence is earned. And you can earn it in the weight room, and you can earn it in competition and one-on-one battle between the pitcher and the hitter. And you can earn it in competition within the game between us and the other team. But confidence is earned, can't be given. We give them everything. I give them every pair of shoes. I give them every top you can buy. I got everything in the world I can give them, but I can't give them confidence. Confidence is what they got to earn through their hard work of weight room and mental preparation and ready to go play a heck of a game.
Right. Now, you when you leave Pine Forest, you go try D1 for a little bit. You were an assistant coach at Jacksonville State?
Jacksonville University in Florida.
I'm sorry, Jacksonville University.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you coached D1 there, and then you came back to Okaloosa Walton, right?
I did. I came back as an assistant. I just liked the Panhandle. Always liked living in the Panhandle. I was in Jacksonville, and it was a great job, but just the town, it didn't suit my eye, so to speak. And so I had a chance to come back at Okaloosa Walton, and I was assistant to David Garner. And I was up there 4 years, and then I left and went to Jefferson Davis, which is now Coastal Alabama North.
Now, after having an extensive time as a head coach, and then I don't want to say take a step back because you took a D1 job, but you were an assistant. How did being an assistant at two stops influence you when you became a head coach again, or did it?
Well, I hope it helped me with the coach I was working for, because he knew he could give me, he knew he'd give me the right information and I would run with it. In other words, a practice plan, I could handle all that because I'd already done all that. I think being an assistant for a couple of years absolutely helped me, because now it lets me delegate more stuff, more situational things to my assistants, and helps me let them grow a little bit. In New York up here, this is my 15th year. I've had 15 different assistants. That's all my design, because I want to share with them the information that I have. I never brought a guy back, and I want a one-year guy. And in college, I probably had, as a head guy, I don't know, I probably had 10 guys get college jobs after they left me. So I felt part of my duty to give back was to influence young coaches to try to help them get better, to get them in a position where they could be a head coach one day.
That's great. Now, then of course you wind up at Jeff Davis and you have great success there. You went. What do you think leaps out at you about your national championship club?
Tough, man. Tough, talented. 20 Division I transfers. They all balled it. I mean, not 20 transfers. We made 20 Division I signees. I mean, we built those guys. We worked and worked. There wasn't no transfer portal then. We got, I'd like to say we signed a 7 and we got into play as a 9 or a 10. We had 20 players in that locker room that were D1 baseball players when they left us. We had several draft picks. My time there, I probably had 5 or 6 Major League Baseball players on the time that I was there. We were there 6 years. We won 6 conference championships, 2 state championships, 2 trips to the World Series, and a national championship in '98. Tremendous players. I mean, tremendous, tough kids that gave their all for our program.
Right. You know what? Let's get a quick commercial in real quick, and then we'll come back and let's talk about where you're at now and how it's a little bit different. The job you have in the summer, coaching collegiate guys till they go back to college, is a little bit different than what you're doing in the fall, and how all that kind of relates to your philosophies. Is that cool?
Let's go.
All right. Welcome back, and thank you to Arden's Garden, Atlanta's source for juices, smoothies, and plant-based foods, and to Showcase Apparel and its owner, Coach Ben House. Showcase Apparel, the fit for your team. Now, what's interesting about you two guys, real quickly, sidebar, is both of you have your hands in a lot of things. Like, Coach, I know that you have a job in New York, Amsterdam, New York, and you're and you're a baseball coach in Bruton, Alabama. Ben, you've got at least 10 jobs you do, right?
And did you say Ben? I'm sorry.
Yeah, either way.
And I'm full-time instructor there also. So, I mean, I'm full-time in every sense of the way.
I was getting to that. I know you told me you enjoy to continue teaching classes as well.
Yeah, I teach in our physical education department, and it's been outstanding. I have a blast doing it. I mean, I enjoy trying to get those, when in junior college, you get a lot of kids that probably could be first time, they might be the first kid ever to go in their whole family to go to college. So we got to try to make that a good experience for that student so we can hopefully get them educated where they can go off and be successful. What we really want them doing is paying taxes too. So you can get that Social Security, especially me. But I tell you, I've enjoyed the teaching end tremendously. I've enjoyed the coaching end. I've done this now. I'm in my 46th year. I've never been to work a day in my life. I've had a ball doing it.
Right. You believe very firmly in teaching people about, because I've noticed everywhere you go, you try to pick something up. You try to learn constantly, and you believe in a learning process. And you just talked about how you want your players to learn how to chase knowledge, correct?
Yeah, exactly. I've been a lifelong learner my entire life. I try to build on my baseball knowledge and just in general. I told it, somebody asked me, I said, 97% of what I believe in baseball, I believe. And I don't think anybody can make me change my mind. But I'm very open to 3 to 4% of what I can learn and improve upon. So that's what I try to do. And I always ask people, hey, how do you do this? Because I want to know maybe they're doing it better than I am. And if that's the case, I want to do it better. I've told them 46 years I've tried to build a better mousetrap. Everywhere I've ever been, I just continually try to get us better. Coming off a state championship team and a talented team coming in, my job is to get us to be the best we can be.
Right. Now, Ben, for a guy that owns multiple businesses and you got your LLC going, you too have to try to get better at every aspect across the board, and there are many boards you're trying to get better at.
Yeah, the key with me is staying consistent when things aren't consistent, and making sure that things are lined up for my community. First and foremost is, I'm trying to uplift my community by bringing baseball back to the community. To help young kids get employed, whether it's through my program or through the tournaments that I run, or whether it's through my apparel company, or whether, with this podcast that I'm having. So that's kind of where I'm at in my life, is trying to elevate the people around me, and also my community. And baseball has been very good to me. Being able to sign out of high school and get some knowledge, playing in the minor leagues, but more than anything, just keeping the friendships and the relationships that I've built along the way. With having you in my life, Kevin, Coach Griffin, guys like Putnam, and all the guys that I played with, and guys that coached me along the way. That's what's important to me right now in my life, more than anything. And that's what I'm about right now, is just helping everyone that's around me and trying to uplift my community.
Awesome.
Well said, man.
Well, there's a transition there in that, at the community college level, you're able to give full rides to kids. And like you said just a second ago, a lot of these guys are first generation college guys, and you're trying to help them grow through that.
Yeah. And when you say full rides now, in the state of Alabama, our full rides tuition, books, and fees. So we don't have room and board. But
Yes, sir.
But they get FAFSA, and there's different ways that they can offset that cost. But yeah, I mean, my job is to get them to the next level. I mean, I so far I've 31 guys in the major leagues. I got about 200 plus guys playing minor league baseball, and there's probably been one of my players play at every school, but maybe Missouri and Texas A&M in the Southeastern Conference. So we had an A&M guy, so maybe Missouri. We've had guys play all over the country, and I have a great relationship with those guys. Those guys are friends of mine, and they'll be lifelong friends. And like Ben said, that's the beauty of what we do. Besides trying to win the games, it's the relationship you build for a lifetime. And I know, and I think Ben and myself have been very successful at that.
Right, 100%. Now, Jerome Nelson, we were talking about Jerome at the Major League Baseball signing thing that Ben went to, and Jerome mentioned to me that you were the most organized coach he had been around. And organization is a key to what you do, right?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, and speak on Jerome for a second. Jerome was the first real impact player I ever had, and he was tremendous. A third-round draft pick with the Angels with us, and he'd signed at Mississippi State, and just decided to sign pro with California, chase a major league dream like most little boys do. And Jerome had a long career, played forever in AAA, just couldn't get a break to go to the big leagues. But yeah, being organized and taking advantage of every minute of the practice. I love baseball practice. I mean, I really do. So I don't have a problem being out there a little longer in baseball, but I know we live in a generation today that 3 hour, 4 hour practice kind of jumps on them, and it's kind of tougher on them, not tough on me because I like baseball, but right. Sometimes about 2.5, 3 hours in my case, I got to let them go and go do something else. I tell our guys, I said, let's just use a 40-hour week as an example. I said, give me Monday through Thursday, give me 4 hours a day, like I say 1 to 5, and then that's 16 hours through Monday through Thursday. And then you're going to be, most of these kids now are about face-to-face with the instructor only about 9 hours of their college work. So the 16 and the 9 is 25 hours. Now, what are you doing your other 15 hours that you should be working on? I mean, what are you doing? Grade-wise, weightlifting-wise, and all the other stuff that's associated with being a good player. So I just try to build it off a 40-hour work week. Ben works 80 hours, and I work 80 hours, and you work 80 hours, and I just tell these kids, well, work week's basically 40 hours, and we got to do the maximum amount of work in 40-hour period that we can.
Now, how is that different from what you're doing right now this summer, working with
Well, this summer I'm in New York, and we got 34 players on our team. They're from Utah to Florida to Michigan. I mean, they're from everywhere. And I have 2 assistants that's been with me a long time, and then I have one young guy this year from Marshall University. And then right now we got a baseball camp with 60 kids in it right now. We had a showcase the other day with 150 kids with 35 Division I coaches. So every day we're doing something to make our program better. This is my 15th year here. I feel like I got a great ownership in this program. And I'm sure that's what Brian, our owner, would want me to have, because we give to this program and try to make it, nobody in 14 years have won 9 championships in the United States of America. We're the only team in America that's done that. And there's about 50 summer leagues throughout the country. So we're really pleased with what we've done up here.
Absolutely. So I think you're a guy that likes to run the bases. He likes to steal, hit and run, bunt, if I remember correctly, fielding, of course, pitching, all that stuff is important. But I also think that a thing that is important to you is controlling what you can control, right? You worry about your ball club.
Oh, I always, like I tell mine, I don't even know who we're playing. I mean, they're just happen to be sitting in another dugout. I'm worried about us. If we take care of us, we're going to beat them. I mean, we got to take care of us. So I don't worry. I mean, like I'll hear somebody who's going to be really good, or this player won't. That's beyond my control. The only thing I can control is the guys that I touch every day and help them be the best they can be when we get them there to play. And we've done a good job of that. We're going to continue to do a good job of that. Like tonight, we got a big game up here in New York. In New York baseball, this is the biggest game. We're 3 games up. We're going on the road to play the team chasing us tonight. And again, my message to our guys will be, they're just in the other dugout. We got to do what we do. If we do what we do, we'll take care of that game. I'm not worried about them. I'm worried about us.
Right. And I think that's a great place to wrap. I think that's a great place because I think it's something you hear more and more from these self-help gurus, right, is all you can do is control what you can control. If you spend time worrying about things other than if I worry about what Lucy's doing over there, I'm not doing anything about what can make my life better.
Exactly.
And that's one of the problems. I don't want to get a thing, but people tell you all the time with the Facebooks and the TikToks and the X and all that. Don't compare yourself to somebody else's greatest hits. You know what I mean? Like all they're showing you on their social media is the good stuff.
Oh, it is a good stuff. And if you watch a picture on social media, Dave, nobody's got a hit off of them yet.
Right. Right.
They're the greatest pitcher that's ever lived. That's the platform we deal with today, though, and so you just got to put it in perspective and control what you can control.
100%. Ben, thank you for getting Keith on the show for us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate you very much, Coach Griffin.
Thanks, Ben, Kevin. I appreciate it very much. I appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me.
This has been
Coastal Alabama North, Bruton, Alabama. Give me a call. We'll be waiting to hear from you.
Yes, sir. Looking for a hitter, right, Coach?
Looking for a hitter. Thank you.
I'm seeing you one, Coach.
Bye-bye.
I'm seeing you one.
See you, Ben.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.